lonely nights like these, my only comfort, or friends, if you might call them that, are the stacks and stacks of pill bottles I have from Walgreens, CVS, these orange, transparent orange bottles with white caps are absolutely everywhere over my room on cold, dingy, stale nights like these. The only comfort I have is the knowledge that my actions for others are a sin and heresy, that I am a blight on this earth for people who are all too full of themselves to notice just how much of an asshole they really are. What this is an impromptu podcast where I will talk myself to sleep. At the end, I have been instructed to take one pill, unnamed, anonymous pill, once by mouth, 3 times daily as needed. And let me tell you, I have broken the unwritten contract between me and my neurologist. I have taken 2 of these pills because one just isn't enough to do it for me anymore. I am tired. I haven't hit stage 4 sleep in over 48 hours. Why? I don't know. Sometimes you can't sleep. And that's the situation that I am in today. It's what's brought me here to scratch your ear holes with the whinings of a deluded, untalented hack 20-something just sitting in his bedroom, looking at Audacity and his microphone. Every day I live is a day I stray further and further from the people around me, their ideals, their comfort that I'm sure at one point they gave me. I am in a rat race to see how quickly I can alienate myself from the people around me, and not for any fault or by any choice of my own. Everybody's a little bit different, but you have to recognize that some people have met with a depth of social strata that was never meant to be dug down into. And we keep ourselves there, holed up, and just waiting for everyone to leave us. If I had a choice, sometimes I do feel like I would have liked to quote-unquote fit in more. I would have liked it if my ideas didn't stray so far from the social norms that even the people I know in real life who are my friends have a hard time justifying their relationship with me in light of how uh, different and strange the things I think are. And I can have whatever logical excuse I want, and in another world, in another place even, the things I think and will say in moments when I am vulnerable and looking for genuine human connection and trying to express some part of myself that doesn't often get to see the light, that I have to keep buried for fear that I will be excised from the tiny community that I have to exploit for resources. If I could choose, sometimes I do think I would choose to just feel okay with going with the flow, with turning into a ball of incontinent sludge that just fits in and is molded by whatever container he has put in. I wish I didn't have to think about how the things I think, however benign or harmless they are, cause genuine discomfort to the people in my life who I care about and who I would like to be honest with. In this instance, would I sacrificed some level, some illusion of free will, of freedom that I have over myself, over my personality, to get the social credit, or more or less just please the people who I would like to have easy and fulfilling lives. If I had been someone else and better in that situation, wouldn't that just make their life better? And so then you might come to the conclusion that you're just not worth it at all, regardless of how they feel about it. That if you're going to cause by your very existence and thoughts and beliefs some level of discomfort to the people who you wish never had to feel pain, then is it worth it to shut up forever and never say the one thing on your mind in that moment, the one thing that eats at you away until you are nothing but a bloody bag of water and flesh with so many holes and so many places of leaking fluids. I don't know, but I do know that I could drop if my friends, anyone who I know in real life, said to me, I don't think I can be friends with you anymore, I would say, I completely understand. I won't talk to you again. Okay, bye. Thanks for putting up with me. You know, I'm ready to abandon people if the need arises. And that's a scary thought, I think. And I do in when I think about those moments when I visualize that hypothetical in my head, I do have fantasies of a world where I just so happen to be like everyone around me. And that's defeating. On the other hand, I am genuinely happy to be a blight and a curse on those people who disagree with my life philosophy. I'm genuinely glad that I can be a curse on in their minds at least, of the people who would think I'm despicable for having the utterly benign beliefs that I do. And I genuinely think it's probably a good thing, if anything, that I'm, I guess, out in the world where I think a lot of people, I don't really have any problems with my friends, and they're welcome and often do humor me a little more than I deserve, probably. But to humor my bad ideas, quote unquote, and to think that I should burn in hell for them is another thing. And so I respect my friends, and I curse. I give them the big middle finger. The people who genuinely believe that anyone deserves eternal torture. And so I'm glad at least to be a blight on this earth for those people. I would like to move. What's the stereotype? I guess the idea is that you have the older generation who thinks the younger generation is pushing the Overton window in a particularly harmful direction. And if I can be in the minds of some zealot, someone who's tipping that window just over the point where they can no longer where they have to accept at some point that they are irrational and mean-spirited, and that they are evading responsibility by claiming that they have no agency in what they believe. So, yeah, just genuinely good if I can push the Overton window for those people, at least those people be in those minds. It's like it's basically like a gay couple kissing in front of an old person. I'm like that, but for at least I hope to be that. But for I don't know, lamos on the internet. Pew pew pew. Welcome to KBX45 live to you from Tokyo, Japan. Oh, okay. I can definitely feel the medicine kicking in. I have less ability to control, this fine motor controls. Whoa. Oh. So this won't last for much longer, I don't think. What else is there to talk about? Watching some Joe lately. First time watching Joe. It's a surprise, really, because having been on A for over 5 years at this point, you think I would have watched Ashita no Joe by now. But no. Even if I am someone who considers myself someone who will consistently go back several decades in the past to watch old anime and is genuinely intrigued by the history and wants to learn, I've also seen far, far less anime in comparison from the 80s than I have the 2010s. And what I usually mean by when I say, and I might be saying it for the first time now, I don't know, that if you want to not creatively stagnate, then you need to critically analyze the axes upon which you are finding and consuming new media. And as much as possible, mix them up, shuffle them up, try and make them random to a certain extent. But also, when you find a thread that produces a genuinely meaningful depth of artistic expression, you should find where the string leads and go down the rabbit hole. Watch everything. If it's the art direction, watch everything the art director directed, and maybe even more. Just stuff like that. But also you need to branch out from what you know every now and then. And not be afraid to, one, admit that you don't know that much, and two, let other people tell you what's what. So I've been watching Joe, and I think it's one of the greatest TV shows ever. I love it. I love Joe, the character. He is the embodiment of the ironic teen, and I don't mean that in a mimetic way. I mean, he literally sidesteps his genuine emotional problems with irony. And the problem is that no one's taught him how to be genuine and interact with himself in a genuine way. And so what you have in the first 10 or so episodes is Joe is just banging his head, just running headfirst into a brick wall of the absolute cinder block premium concrete well-built wall of sincerity that all of the other characters have made for him to bonk his head into. And it's a slow process, and I think the beauty of Joe is that Joe doesn't learn his lesson every time the narrative punishes him. He is a stubborn character, and that's part of his it's partly his flaw, but it's also his appeal. And that someone so aggressive And the deeper commentary on sports, but also 1v1 sports, comes into play here, which is, in order to box, you have to want it. And the reason why Joe can be a great boxer, why he can be a great boxer, is not only because he is physical and physically fit and a natural at it. It's also because he has an innate aggressive tendency and stubbornness. He will keep getting up over and over again, not because he knows he can win, but because he just wants it that bad. And this was something my fencing coach used to tell me, was in fencing, it's about who wants it most. Especially, this was in reference to saber fencing. So there's a lot of just innately great things, commentary about goals, but also sports specifically. As someone who was for a long time involved in contact sports, not football, but martial arts, and the problem for me with watching martial arts, special effects movies or things like that, was, as a kid, I kind of already knew, the illusion was broken for me, and that I kind of knew the technique was, I don't know, it's like something was hitting too close to home. But in Joe, it feels like an emotional realism of fighting, of squaring up against another person and punching them, all while being mechanically intriguing. And that is a great strength of Joe's fights. There's a lot more great stuff about Joe. I think alright, that's it for this, because I'm about to pass out, 'cause, bro, I'm so tired.